Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this pro-life series. Um, we call it pro-life because when you think of pro, you think of professional. You think of the very best there is at what you do. Professional athletes, they play at the highest level, they compete at the highest level, and so you expect the very best out of them. If you call somebody to clean your carpet, you expect, because they are professionals at what they do, that them to do a professional job. So it's an expectation as the level of service that you expect when you use the word professional. And so if we should be a professional at anything, it should be how we govern our own lives. We should be an expert at what it's going to take for us to succeed. This way you take the control and how far you go out of other people's hands and you put it into your hands. And that way you determine how far you can go. It's not statistics, it's not probability, but it's you, how you determine how far you can go in life. So this pro-life series is to introduce you to some principles, things that will help you think differently about your situation, things that will help you to have an open mind. Now you can have a made up mind, but it's important that your mind be open. When it's open, then you make yourself available to new concepts, new understandings, new ideas. It's how you can value diversity. Everybody's got something to bring to the table. You may not choose everything, but the things that you need, you can take those, add them to the knowledge that you have already, and then you live better based on that. So pro-life is about you being in the best position to be a professional at the direction of your own life. So we're talking about leadership, and the very foundation of what we're talking about, we're going to start with your mindset. Now, wherever you are in life, wherever that place is, whether it's good or bad, whether you wish it were better, whatever the place is, you have a philosophy that brought you there. And so if you have a philosophy that has brought you to that place, then there's a philosophy that's going to take you where you want to go. So that was good news to me when I first found that out, when this was first revealed to me. That was very good news because it meant that I have a say in the direction of my life. I have a say in the outcome. I know where it's going to go. And so your philosophy is what brought you there. So your philosophy is what can take you to the next level. And so philosophy, what do I mean by that? I mean the way that, very simply, the way that you think. Okay, there's a thought process that is the beginning to every behavior. There is no behavior without a thought process that happened first. And so if you want to change the outcome of your life, then you want to change your behavior or the choices that you make. If you want to change the choices that you make, then you want to change the way that you think. By changing the way you think, you change the thoughts that you have. The thoughts are made up of words. So what words do you have access to? Who do you listen to? Who's got the loudest voice in your life? The most influential person? Okay, are they an idiot? Are they, I heard somebody say, if you hang around 9 broke people, you're going to be the 10th one. So you got to have people in your life that think different, that think higher, people that challenge you to be the very best that you can be. We talked about all the time that don't judge the quality of your relationships by just how they make you emotionally feel. Because emotions change. They're up one day and they're down the next. But you want to judge the quality of relationships by how does that relationship challenge you to meet your goals in life? Do they challenge you to be your best? If there are areas that we all need to tighten up on, areas that we can all use work in. And so do the relationships in your life, do they seduce you to stay the same, or do they challenge you to get better? Okay, that should be the number one criteria for when you're judging the quality of a relationship. And then after that, how it makes you emotionally feel, and so on. So let that be the standard by which you gauge your relationships. Let that tell you the quality of the relationship. And then after that, after you take this in consideration, you may have to set some new boundaries, for different people in your life. I mean, you want the people who are going to help you be the best you can be close to you, and the people where the relationships are maybe more challenging, a little bit farther away, So remember that the words that you have access to come through our relationships with other people. We want the words that have access to our heart to be uplifting. We want them to be, sometimes they can be challenging, and sometimes it's not all that comfortable to be challenged. A lot of times we'll have to move beyond our comfort zone, whatever that is, whatever our norm is. It's a challenge to move beyond that. And so that's okay. We have to realize that that type of uncomfortability is okay. It's okay to, be challenged and to move out. Don't shy away or shrink back from a challenge, because it's coming to make you better. It's coming to show you some things, to teach you some things. And after having learned that, then you're in a better position to make better decisions. And your decisions lead to the quality of your life. So remember that. Don't judge the relationships only by how it makes you emotionally feel. Judge them by how they challenge you to meet your goals. And so that is really why we're starting with this foundation as we're talking about leadership. At the very least, we are leaders of our own life. When you're out there and you're making your money and you're paying your bills and all that, you have to make definitive decisions in order to make your life work, whatever level that is. And so we all have leadership capabilities on the inside of us. Leadership is not static, but it's dynamic. And what I mean by that is that it's not something that you're either born with or you're not. Now, we all have gifts that make our leadership style one way or the other, but we all have the ability to lead. We all have that downloaded on the inside of us. And it comes from the part of us that's our will, okay? By virtue of you having a will, by virtue of you having the ability to make a decision, a definitive one, a powerful, a strong one, tough one, by the virtue of you having that ability, then that is the byproduct of leadership. So you have the ability to lead down on the inside of you. Now it's about perfecting that. It's about learning some things and making it easy of yourself. So in order for us to understand that and get to this at the highest levels, we have to understand a little bit about how we're designed, okay? Now, you are a spirit and you possess a soul and you live in a physical body now. If we're gonna have authority in this physical world, we have to have a physical body. Our soul is made up of our mind, our will, and our emotions. Now, our emotions, they are feelings about things. Emotions are feelings on the inside caused by pain or pleasure, designed to take you in a direction. And so, how easy and how swayable our emotions are. You can be up one day and down the next. You could be in an emotional state and make a decision out of that state, and then a week later wonder what the heck were you thinking? Well, that's emotion. But in those emotions is great power. There's a unlimited reserve of power, and it empowers you to do whatever you need to do. Your emotions is the thing that's got the ability to take you where you want to go. Just like they work against you in the negative when they're not controlled, they can also be very powerful to work for you, okay? And when you talk about failure or something that you tried to do and it didn't work out so good, a lot of people will say, I didn't have the resources to get it done. And it's not about the resources, because whatever it is that you need to do, there's enough resources to get it done. There's enough money, there's enough wisdom, there's enough, whatever it is, there's enough places, so whatever your claim is as to why it didn't work out, there's enough. But it's about being connected to the resources. In some areas we have drought, and then in some areas we have floods. In some areas we have an overproduction of food where they throw food away, and then other areas there are people who are starving. So the key is learning how to connect the resources with the need, okay? Your emotions are designed to connect you to those resources. So it's not that you lack resources, but it's the resourcefulness that is our challenge. If you are trying to live your dream and you don't have enough money, then your commitment to that dream will make a way for you to get the money. You won't quit until you find it. If it's people that you need and expertise that you need, if you're committed enough, you can find the right people to tell you what you need to do to make it work. So it's not the resources that we need, and it's the resourcefulness, and emotions are the key to your resourcefulness. That's a part of your soul. That's a part of you that you control. Your mind or intellect, this is the intellectual part of you. This is a part of you that learns and it grows and it thirsts for knowledge and things like that. And if you take your chosen field and you study on it 1 hour a day, the experts say you will become within a year an expert in that field, and within 5 years you'll be a millionaire. Just at the decisions that you're able to make from expanding your knowledge base. So this is the mind part of you. This is that part of you that it seeks for facts and it knows things. When you went to school and you learned all those things out of books, this is the part of you that fed. So your mind and your emotions and then your will, what we talked about a little bit earlier, and that's your ability to make a decision. Now we're influenced by both sides, okay? There are things that we intellectually know, but then we don't do because we're so emotionally charged. So all these things are making a play for the decision that you make. All these things are taking place in your mind or in your upstairs, in your head. See, the battle for your success is either won or lost in your mind. Before any decision has ever been made, before any action has ever been taken, it has already, a process has already gone forth inside of your mind. And so if we want to change, if we want to win the battle, if we want to make it so that we live to the fullest of our potential, this is where we have to take the fight. So this is why, even though we're talking about leadership, we're spending a lot of time talking about your way of thinking and trying to bring some understanding to how you operate on the inside, because your mind is where the battle is, and that's where it's won or that's where it's lost. So before you snap off and make the wrong decision, a scenario has taken place in your mind already. And so if we want to be the best that we can be, we want to make sure that doesn't happen. We want to take care of those scenarios. We want to make sure that a part of us that's not supposed to be in control isn't. Okay? And then there's the spiritual part of you. Now remember, we're spirit, soul, and body. That spiritual part of you is the part of you where faith resides. It's that part of you where you can believe, your belief systems and all these things, your ability to trust and to believe in something that you can't see. That indomitable part of you that refuses to quit, no matter what. Even with the odds stacked up against you, it refuses to let go. This is the part of you that's your spirit. That part is fed by faith. There's a scripture in Job that says that there's a spirit in man. It is the breath of the Almighty, and it gives him understanding. And so this is the part of you that you were meant to be led by. This is the part of you where love resides, and it will temper the other sides. You know, your soul and your mind, your emotions and all that. When you get knowledge and it comes through your spirit, then it's correct knowledge. You know it's the right thing, and you have it in the right capacity. When you got knowledge sometimes that come to you from another way, it's incorrect knowledge, and then we use it incorrectly. We use it in a way that's not consistent with our destiny, not consistent with where we're going in life. A lot of times we end up hurting the people who are closest to us with it. And so that's what incorrect knowledge can get for you. And then of course, when you have your emotions are in control, that's when you're very unpredictable. You do things and you really can't explain them. Remember, emotions are feelings on the inside caused by pain or pleasure designed to take you in a direction. So you want those emotions to take you in the right direction. You want it to be, life is a journey. It's not just going from point A to point B, but it's the journey in between. And so you want your consistent choices to be moving you in the right direction. We're not talking about perfection or anything like that, but we're talking about making more good choices than bad. We're talking about moving yourself in a direction so that you can have the good life. You can have the very best in life, the very best relationships. Your monies can be the best. You want to be lined up with your purpose. So then you're operating out of your gifts and talents. And so you're not just working by the sweat of your brow and never seeming to get ahead, but you've passed that. And you're learning how that your gift is making room for you and it's bringing you before great people. So the way you get on board with that is you have to understand these things that's going on the inside of you, these how you were designed. And you start using these tools that you've been given, tools that were downloaded on the inside of you so that you can be the best that you can be. And that way you can you can live your best life through that. So you've already been given everything that you need to live that life. You've been given everything that you need to create that. Okay? So now, as we talk about our mind, now there's a flesh side and there's a spirit side. Now this is just to our mind. We're not talking about our emotions right now. So the flesh side operates off of the image that you got from your past experience. And the experiences that sit with us, the ones that made the most impact, unfortunately, were the bad things that happened to us. The things that where people hurt us, whether it was intentional or not. When we're smaller and we don't have a value system set yet, these things make us believe things about ourselves that aren't true. They're very limiting because they come from a very hurtful place. You know, they make us very judgmental of ourselves. And so it makes us feel like we can't go very far. It caps us, puts a ceiling on where we can go, what we can do, and things like that. Now, when we're smaller, we learn through a process called impartation. And that is whatever information that we're around, especially people who we see something in, we're very connected to for whatever reason, and they say things and we just take it. We don't scrutinize it. We don't take the time to determine whether or not that's true for us or not, but we just take it in. We don't have our value system set up yet. You know, that's just when we're young. And so a lot of these limiting things that we find that are in our heart or in our spirit, and these are the things that mitigate the way that we think, have been with us since we've been smaller. Now, the Jewish culture had what they call the age of accountability. And once a child passed that age of accountability, then they were seen as an adult. So things changed for them. There's an age of accountability, and it's got to do with our understanding, but we're not supposed to learn from impartation anymore, but we're supposed to now learn through revelation. We're supposed to have the ability to discern things. Is this true for me or not? And if it's not true, then we just disregard it's true. Okay? These are the ways, this is the way we get things down into our heart, and we start developing belief systems that's going to take us to where we need to go. But the thing is, if we don't understand this and what's going on, then we'll try to live over the top of all these things that we've got down on the inside of us through impartation. And what we don't realize is that this is the area where the blueprint of our decisions are. Okay? You know, your conscious mind is only so big, and it's as amazing as it is, it's very limited compared to your unconscious mind. Okay? So the unconscious mind is where you've got these belief systems and these things that are telling you can't go very far, and things that we picked up through the years. And every time we come up on a tragedy, or not a tragedy, but when we come up on a difficulty, a challenge, instead of rising up to meet that challenge, we're more apt to back away from it because of these things that we've got, because of this blueprint. So the idea is to change the blueprint. You have to change that image. So the flesh side of our mind, that image comes from our past experience, and the things that meant the most to us in our past experience, unfortunately, were very negative. They were situations and thoughts are emotionally charged, and that emotion will get it right past our mental defenses and get it right down into our heart, and then we believe them. And so we have to learn how to put positive things, true things into our heart. We have to realize that, people said things to us, they may have mistreated us, but they didn't do it because we were imperfect, or they didn't do it because they saw a flaw in us. They did it because they were imperfect. There's a saying that says, hurt people hurt people. So don't make a judgment on your own life based on these awful things that you went through. You have to come to the realization that we live in an imperfect world, and so imperfect things happen, but the best days are ahead of you. They're not behind you. And so put yourself in a position to where you can be open to the wisdom. Remember, we said you have to have an open mind. It can be a made up mind, but it should be open so that you can be open to new ideas and new concepts, things that are coming to tell you, no, that's not true. You can disregard that. It's okay. Now, the blueprint for our decisions is laid in this part of us, in this unconscious mind part of us. And in order for us to change, we have to change on this level, on this foundational level. And we have to we have to change how we believe. Remember, behavior there's things that have already taken place before the behavior happened. That's the fruit, okay? When you see an apple tree, you don't see the roots. You don't see how the roots are going down into the ground and absorbing all the moisture and the nutrients that it needs to produce. You don't see all that. All you do is walk up on it and you see the apples hanging off the tree. But there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And so you're the same way. By the time you've made a decision, by the time you've done something, there are processes that have gone on the inside of you that have taken place. And if you want to change, real lasting and positive change happens on this level. So how do you get these things, from into the unconscious part of you? Now, first of all, let me make sure you understand what part of you this is. There's a part of you that's regulating your involuntary physical body responses right now. It's regulating your blood pressure, it's regulating your heartbeat, all these things that we couldn't possibly consciously do because there's so many. That's still a part of you that's handling that, okay? If I take my hand and move it from here to here, okay, it's hundreds of things happening to make that happen. Things that respond to my thought, or my command to say, touch my nose. Okay, there are things happening. That's how powerful the unconscious part of you is. It works at quantum speeds. It is literally it's bottomless. Okay, this is the part of you where those blueprints lie that kind of set the atmosphere for the decisions that we make. Sometimes, we'll go through, say in relationships, and have a bad time. We'll say, I'll never do that again. And then 6 months later, we find ourselves in the same situation. Well, it wasn't that we lied, but it was that there's some things on the inside, a belief system that we have concerning relationships that need to change that we didn't. So we have to remember, change it's supposed to come from the inside out. Change from the outside in is nothing more than behavior modification. And it's too much going on for you to just modify your behavior. You go back to the original behavior. So now we're talking about this unconscious part. Now, to get a new belief system in, to get a new idea in there, when you just wake up and you're in that fog for 5 minutes before you're like truly awake, this is when you're most susceptible to stub your toe or bump your head or whatever. That 5 minutes of fog is when your unconscious and your conscious mind are switching hands. You've been asleep, and now your unconscious mind is passing the baton to your conscious. So you're about to get up and take your day. Or that little bit of time as you're drifting off to sleep, that fog you go into right before then. Whatever is on your mind in those times has an easier time to get into this unconscious part of you or into your heart. So if you want to get an idea in there, if you want to put something in there that's contrary to what you've been experiencing, this is a good start to change. As you're going to sleep, don't watch the news and listen to the same negative stories over and over and over again, and then you put that on your mind and you wonder why you're getting chased all night. No, but put something positive in your head before you go. Put the notion in your head that things are working out for you instead of against you, and you can't wait till the next day so that you can receive the new opportunities that's coming to change your life. Yeah, you put something substantial in there, something that's positive, something that's good, and you begin to see your worldview will begin to change. And then when you wake up, put your Post-it note on your mirror in the bathroom, or put you some positive affirmations on your refrigerator, somewhere where you're going to see in that time. And that's when, before your conscious mind takes over and then locks, you're able to get these ideas in, and you're able to change little by little that way. Because you got to remember, change is incremental. It's not a genie in a bottle. It's not a snap of the fingers. But, however it is that you think, you didn't get there overnight. So don't think you're going to change it all overnight. But give yourself the space. Give yourself the opportunity to change and think differently about things. And so there are tools that you can use to do that. And so that's one of them. So just remember that the unconscious part of you that's where the power lies for you to do anything. Everybody has heard at least one time in their life that everything that you need to change is already on the inside of you. And that is absolutely the truth. But if you never find out how to tap into it, then it'll never benefit you. I heard Miles Monroe say years ago that the most valuable real estate on earth is a cemetery, because of all the songs that were never sung, because of all the plays that were never written, all the dreams that people had in their hearts when they died and they took it to the grave with them. And now the world will never experience it. And that's absolutely the truth. Just because you have destiny on the inside of you don't mean you will reach that destiny. Just because you've got potential in there, potential to do great things, it does not mean that you'll actually do those great things. You have to learn how to get that potential out of your heart, that greatness. You got to learn how to tap into it and do it. And it comes through the way that you think. So you get an idea, you get a concept, it comes in, it comes into your head. Now remember, you don't see with your eyes, you see through your eyes. You actually see with your mind, and it's called perception. And that's how you can have a situation that happens, and you ask 10 different people what happens, you got 10 different ideas as to what happened. You got 10 different stories. And it's not that 9 of them are lying. They're all right. They're just telling you how they saw it based on their perception. So think of perception as a lens. And when things happen, they pass through that lens, and the lens shapes it just depending on what the prescription is. And that's our perception. And so sometimes, based on these things that we're talking about, we have a perception of ourselves that's kind of dark. And when things come in, we automatically take it to the negative. So we have to learn how to see things from a brighter perspective, see things from the notion that things are working out for me instead of against me. I have potential, I have worth, I have a purpose, and that purpose is taking me to great places and it's bringing me before great people. You don't have to know the end from the beginning. Just take one step at a time, and you'll find out. So our time is out. That's all we got. Tune in the next time as we continue to talk about leadership and the way that you think. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Daniel Moore from the Pro Life Series signing off.